Helen and Walter had been married for 42 years. After retirement, they moved into a quiet cottage near the woods, peaceful, isolated, and, as Helen once said, perfect for growing old together. But lately, Walter had changed. He'd become distant, forgetful. Sometimes she'd find him just standing in the hallway, staring at the guest bedroom door, the room they never used. When she asked him why, he'd just blink and say, "I thought I heard something." At first, Helen blamed age, or maybe a touch of dementia. But the more she watched him, the more she realized. He wasn't confused. He was hiding something. It was a rainy Tuesday morning, the kind of gray, soaking rain that seemed to seep into the bones. Helen had just finished folding towels when she noticed one of Walter's flannel shirts still in the laundry basket. He hadn't worn it in years, not since they moved to the cottage. She pressed it to her nose out of habit. It still faintly smelled like cedar and pipe smoke. As she began folding it, something stiff crinkled beneath the fabric. A small envelope, aged and soft with time, slipped to the floor. It had no stamp, no address, just a name written in Walter's unmistakable handwriting. Eleanor. Not Helen. Not her. Her hands shook as she opened it. The paper was fragile, like it might dissolve under her touch. The words inside were written in uneven lines, as though they'd been jotted quickly or nervously. "Dearest Eleanor, I've told her I'm hearing things, that the house creaks, that my memory is going. She suspects nothing. Soon, I'll be free. Just wait in the other room. 3 knocks. I'll know it's you. W.U." Helen stared at the page for a long time, barely breathing. She read it again, and again, each word louder than the last. He wasn't just writing to another woman. He was conspiring with her. In this house. The other room. There were only 2 bedrooms, Heron and the guest room, the one Walter had been staring at so often. For a brief moment, she wondered if it was a joke, some old letter from before they met. But the paper was tucked in a shirt he still wore sometimes, and the words, "She suspects nothing," made her stomach twist. A thought crept in, quiet and terrible. Had he ever really left that woman? Or had she been here all along? Helen folded the letter carefully, like it might bite her. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. Instead, she stood there in the stillness of their little kitchen and listened. Outside, rain tapped against the window like fingers. Inside, the hallway creaked. Once. Then, silence. But Helen swore she heard something else, something softer. From the guest room, a whisper. That night, sleep wouldn't come. Helen lay in bed, staring at the dark ceiling, listening to the wind push through the trees outside. Rain had turned to mist, the kind of damp silence that makes every sound in the house feel louder, closer. Walter lay beside her, still as stone, breathing slow, too slow. Her mind ran in circles, tripping over the same thoughts. Eleanor. The other room. 3 knocks. Had he invited someone here? Was she already inside? Was Helen the guest in her own home? The house groaned, an old, familiar sound, but tonight it made her flinch. And then it came. Knock, knock, knock. from the guest bedroom. 3 deliberate, evenly spaced knocks. Not the creak of wood or rattle of wind. Not an animal, a person. Helen bolted upright in bed. Her heart slammed against her ribs like it was trying to get out. She looked at Walter. He was already awake, eyes open. He didn't move, didn't blink. He just whispered, almost too softly to hear. "She's early." Helen's bare feet touched the cold wooden floor. The air in the hallway felt colder than the bedroom, heavier, as if someone had just passed through. Walter was already ahead of her, silent, steady, walking down the hallway toward the guest room. Not a glance backward, not a word. Helen followed, half in fear, half in a kind of quiet fury. Her breath felt shallow. Her heart pounded behind her ribs, but her hands were steady. She didn't feel old anymore. She felt ancient, like stone, worn down, but immovable. Walter reached the door. His hand hovered over the knob. That door had stayed shut for years, ever since they moved in. It was always just the guest room. No guests had come. No one had ever needed it. So why did it feel like someone lived there now? He turned to her, finally, and in the dim light of the hallway, his face looked different. Not younger, not older, just off, as if something was wearing his skin too comfortably. "Helen," he said softly, "you should go back to bed." His voice had no warmth in it, no real suggestion. It was closer to a warning. Her voice cracked when she replied, "Is she in there, Walter?" A long silence stretched between them. Then came the smile, wide, too wide. His teeth looked too even, too perfect. "Not exactly," he said. "Not anymore?" Then he turned the knob. The door opened with a groan, as though it hadn't moved in years. Inside, it was dark, darker than it should have been. No windows, no moonlight, just a thick, pressing shadow that seemed to pull at the edges of the hallway light. Helen didn't want to step inside, but her feet moved forward anyway. The air in the room was wrong, colder than outside, and filled with something she couldn't name, like a storm waiting to break, or like breath being held. On the bed, perfectly centered, was a single object, a photograph. She moved closer, slowly. It was a picture of her, but not her now, her decades ago. She looked happy, bright, innocent. Next to the photo lay a yellowed note written in a feminine hand. "I loved you first," but she wouldn't let go. The hair on Helen's arms rose. She turned to Walter, but he was gone. Only the open door remained, and somewhere behind her, in the dark room, she heard breathing. Helen didn't scream. She didn't run. She just backed out of the room, step by step, never turning her back on the dark. When she reached the hallway, the door slowly swung shut behind her. She never touched it. By morning, Walter was gone, vanished. No footprints, no coat, no trace. Just his slippers neatly by the bed. The guest room door wouldn't open again. It stayed locked, though no key was ever found. No one believed her when she told them. They said Walter must have wandered off, said her mind was fraying. But Helen knows better. Every night, just after midnight, She hears it. Knock, knock, knock from the other room, and she knows he's still waiting, just on the other side of the door, with her.